Russia has averted state bankruptcy for now, making a crucial interest payment of $117 million US dollars. It was unclear whether Moscow could meet its international debt obligations after Western sanctions over the war hobbled its financial dealings. Russia's central bank can't access its foreign dollar reserves and had said it might pay in roubles, which wouldn't have been accepted by creditors. Another dollar-denominated payment is due in 2 weeks, this time for $2 billion. Major ratings agencies have downgraded Russia's credit rating. Well, my colleague Cassandra Sunt is here to run us through an important part of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, whether or not it can actually afford this war. Tell us more about the financials behind all of this.
Right. The stakes here, Ben, are huge. You've outlined some of them, but the way that the payment schedule works, this is one of the first big tests that Moscow has about whether it can meet its international debt obligations under Western sanctions. Remember, since the start of the war, just last month when Russia invaded Ukraine, Western allies have imposed a barrage of economic penalties on Moscow. That includes limiting its gold and foreign currency reserves and which kind of global banking systems it can access, like SWIFT. So now these sanctions have been imposed. They've been adding up. We had the stress test. And because of these penalties, Russia has limited access, and it would have been huge if it wasn't able to meet these debt obligations. It would have actually been the first time since the Bolshevik Revolution in 1918 that it couldn't meet foreign currency debt obligations. So that would have been huge.
And the ripple effects this time would have been even bigger. Tell me a little bit about the uncertainty here. We weren't quite sure if they managed to avoid default or not.
Exactly. So Russia's using Citibank in London. There's a few intermediaries to get the money to London to facilitate this $117 million interest payment. Those were to 2 euro bonds, and those are due by the end of business on Wednesday, but there's a 30-day grace period to confirm that everything's gone through. And again, this would have been the first financial obligation that Russia had to meet since the invasion of Ukraine. Russia's finance minister says it asked Citibank to make the payment. Citibank wouldn't confirm on Thursday if the money has actually gone through. There's been some reporting from Reuters that they've confirmed with some of the creditors that the money has gone through, so it's a little bit murky at this time. But what's really interesting to me is we're now seeing the Russian government spin machine go to work. They're saying, you know, we have the cash to make this happen, but it's Western sanctions that are not allowing us to meet our obligations, that we could have made this in roubles, like you said. And we do have more payments coming up, the big one, the $2 billion one, and then one on Monday, just 3 days, just after the weekend, for $66 million that's coming due.
Okay, well, the jitters are definitely being felt on both sides, I think. Cassandra, thank you very much.